Good evening and welcome from John F. Kennedy High School, where tonight the Kennedy Eagles take on crosstown rival Bloomington Jefferson in exciting boys basketball. Hello, this is Mark Simpson along with Todd Johnson, and we're just underway.
6 minutes and 40 seconds left in the first quarter. You really haven't missed anything. There's no score yet. As Kennedy's on the offense here. They go underneath the number 44, John Wallace, and he hits from the left baseline. The first 2 points of the Kennedy takes an early 2-0 lead over second-ranked Jefferson. Jefferson down with the ball. Lynch on the baseline. Back out to Bata.
Kennedy playing a 2-3 zone.
Off there to Shear. Back to Shear. Looks like he got away with the double dribble there. Bata out front. Off there to Dale Forrester, and he hits from 17 to tie the game. Jefferson comes with an early press. And the ball's knocked out of bounds, but it'll stay in control of Kennedy. Ball will be passed in there by number 20, Tom Johnson. Gets it into the point guard, Joe Jaycox, and he races down floor. Tries to go underneath to John Wallace. The ball's tipped out of bounds by Jefferson.
That's a good forte of the Jefferson Jaguars. They're hard-nosed defense, and they like to press throughout the entire ball game.
Ryan Hall with the shot from the corner. He can't get it. The ball's rebounded there by Wallace. He can't hit. And it's taken down by number 51, Dan Nayrud for Jefferson. So they come back with Forrester leading the offense.
Well, both teams have had good shots taken, but the ball just has not gone through the hoop so far.
Tom Bata to Lynch, across to Shear. Tom Bata from 15 feet, he hits. And Jefferson takes a 4-2 lead. Into the front court, going all the way down is Tom Johnson. He dishes off there to Brian Hall, and he can't hit, and it's rebounded by Tom Bata. Dale Forrester into the front court.
Well, Forster's playing because of the ankle injury to Chad Juergens. He's done a good job since he's been in the starting role. He was a key player in their win over Osseo last week.
Mike Shear off to Kevin Lynch. Kevin Lynch, an all-state forward. He'll be attending the University of Minnesota next year on a basketball scholarship.
Loss of concentration for Bata as he traveled with the basketball. But the fourth turnover in the ball game already for Jefferson.
Baseball pass down to Brian Hall. He tries to get it across to John Wallace, and it's knocked out of bounds.
Tom Bata, good job hustling back down on defensive end of the court.
4-2 our score with Jefferson the lead with 4 minutes and 49 seconds left in the first quarter. Ball inside to Steve Schramm. Off there to John Wallace. He fights his way up with it. He can't hit. And he gets his own rebound.
Wallace
out to Schramm.
Wallace is doing a great job on the offensive boards.
Tom Johnson with it. Tries to get it back to Schramm, and the ball's intercepted by Dale Forster. Off there to Lynch. Across the middle to Forster. That ball goes underneath to Mike Shear, and Shear's able to lay it in. Jefferson takes a 6-2 lead here. 4 minutes and 7 seconds left in the first quarter. Press here put on by Jefferson. Jaycox is able to break it. We got a foul. As Jaycox let go of that pass. Blocking foul was called on number 13, Dale Forster. That'll be the first foul of the ball game.
Nice aggressive play by Joel Jaycox, taking the ball across the timeline. And Dale Forster did not have enough time to set his feet, and he picked up the defensive foul.
Jaycox out to Johnson. Back out to Jaycox. He'll try it from 17. He gets the roll. And that pulls Kennedy to within 2 at 6-4.
That's going to be a bright spot for the Eagles. Jaycox, not known for his scoring ability, only averaged about 3.5 points per ball game.
Lynch with his first shot of the ball game. He can't hit it, but it's rebounded there by Nayrud. And those aren't bougie here. I think they're rude from the Jefferson fans here tonight.
All the starters have scored now for Jefferson except Lynch. And I'm sure it won't be long before he'll get in the scoring column.
Jaycox has the ball kicked, and Kennedy will take the ball out of bounds. Taking it out there will be number 14, Brian Hall. Ball into Tom Johnson and back to Joe Jaycox to try to set up the offense here for Kennedy. Steps in and has the ball intercepted by Kevin Lynch. Nice 2-on-1.
Oh!
with Lynch and Tom Batta, and Lynch up with a big dunk, and he's fouled. He'll go to the line and try for the three-point play. Nice, fabulous leaping ability by Kevin Lynch.
Oh, he showed us some jumping ability there. That was a great 2-on-1 fast break.
Passing back and forth, and Lynch finally went up with the big dunk. His to the ball game, and there Jefferson jumps up to a 10-point lead, and Lynch can make it 11. He misses, and the rebound's finally pulled down by Tom Johnson. Tom Johnson into the front court, drives right side, goes up with it, and he scores. Nice play by Tom Johnson all alone. He's fouled there by number 13, Dale Forster. Forster's second foul, and the team's second.
Well, Tom Johnson, he's one of the big guns for the Kennedy Eagles, one of the co-captains, taking the ball across the lane and firing up the jumper and drawing the foul.
Lynch comes down with the three-pointer, and Johnson comes right back the other way with one. Johnson's able to hit his free throw, and that pulls Kennedy within 3 at 10-7 with 2 minutes and 46 seconds left in the first half. First quarter, excuse me.
Both teams are getting into their groove now. They start off pretty tight, both on the offensive side, but now it seems they're playing good basketball.
Nayrud can't hit, and the ball's rebounded by Kennedy. Kennedy seems satisfied to bring the ball up and try to set it up into their offense, Mark.
Yeah, it's what they have to do. I don't think Kennedy will have much success if they try running against the Jaguars. Jaguars are a little more deeper on the bench, so they go about 3-4 strong.
Inside to John Wallace. And we get a foul called. The foul's on Mike Shear. I believe that's his first foul. That's Jefferson's third team foul. Neither team in the bonus yet. Johnson inbounds to Brian Hall and back up to Joe Jaycox. Hall and Jaycox play catch. Now over to Tom Johnson. Back out to Jaycox. Jaycox hit his first shot earlier, Mark. That's got to be a good sign.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, he's not one of the better players offensively for the Eagles. He's more of a floor general.
There he goes again, and he hits. 4 points already for Joe Jaycox.
Well, that's got to be a big plus for the Eagles if they want to have the major upset.
It's a 1-point game, 10-9 with 1 minute and 38 seconds, and a turnover by Jefferson.
Quick hands there by Hall.
Jaycox into the front court, off there to Brian Hall. Jaycox off to Hall again, and Hall can't hit from the side, and it's rebounded. Number 23, Tom Batta. Batta and Lynch can both get off the ground.
Well, they're a pair of leapers. These two teams met earlier in the year, and it was, of course, Jefferson with the win, 53-40. But in that game, in the first half, the Jaguars shot an incredible 75%.
Kevin Lynch from the left baseline, about 10 to 15 feet away there, and that's his 4th point of the ball game. Well, alley-oop inside to Wallace. He comes down with it, and he's fouled. Nice play by Kennedy.
Nayrud didn't give Wallace the opportunity to land. He almost took his legs underneath him, and he picked up the foul.
Nayrud's first foul, the team's 4th. Kennedy with only 1 team foul thus far. Kennedy seems to be able to go inside on the Jefferson Jaguars, even though they're a shorter team.
Yeah, the Eagles are more of a perimeter shooting ball club. As they like to put things out from about the 12-foot area. They don't really have a real big man besides Schramm they can go look inside for.
14, Brian Hall up with a shot from 16 feet. He can't hit it. Rebounded by Jefferson, and there's a foul. John Wallace on the rebound. That's only a 2nd team foul on the Kennedy Eagles tonight. And that's Wallace's first foul. Tom. Ball inbounded by Jefferson, number 43, Kevin Lynch, off to number 13, Dale Forster, and Forster hits from 16 feet.
Forster plays with a lot of confidence.
Scores 14-9 with just 10 seconds left in the first half. Looks like Kennedy will be content to go for the last shot here. Brian Hall up with it from 16 feet. He hits, and that brings Kennedy to within 3 at 14-11 as the first quarter draws to a close. Here's Mark Simpson's scoring summary of the first quarter.
Okay, first of all, for the Jefferson Jaguars, it was Nayrud with 2, Lynch with 4, including the spectacular dunk, Shearer with 2, Bata with 2, and Dale Forrester with 4 points. For the Kennedy Eagles, they're led by Joe Jaycox with 4 points, Tom Johnson with 3, Wallace with 2, and Hall with the jumper right before the end of the first quarter for a total of 11 points.
Well, Mark, as you mentioned in the first quarter, these teams met before, and Jefferson came out with a 53-40 victory, and Jefferson shot 75% in the first half. I don't think they're shooting 75% tonight, though, and that may be one reason Kennedy's in it.
Well, Kennedy's done a good job. They've controlled the glass on their own end of the court. That was something that Coach Steve Strumman was worried about, being out-rebounded with a pair of leapers between players like Bata and Lynch.
Well, Stroman said that he thought his team could beat Jefferson tonight if they won the game, and Jefferson didn't shoot 75%, and they seem to be in at this point. It's got to be a big plus for Joe Jaycox hitting his first 2 shots. It's got to be a big confidence builder for him.
And if they get some more inside game, get Steve Schramm work more into the offense, Kennedy could give the Jaguars a lot of problems tonight. But on the other end, the Eagles have got to do a better job of stopping these 8-foot jump shots by Lynch and Bata.
Jefferson inbounds the ball. Dale Forrester will take it there. He drops it off to Kevin Lynch. Lynch out front to Bata. Bata to Nayrud. Back out to Forrester. Fakes the shot. Off to Lynch. Off to Bata. And Bata hits from 16 feet. Good ball movement by Jefferson that time, and it ended up in an easy 16-footer for Bata. Cox will lead the Kennedy Eagles into the front court. They went right inside to Steve Schramm, but Jaycox was called for traveling on the play. 16-11, Jefferson with the lead with 7 minutes and 25 seconds left in the first quarter.
A real battle.
Second quarter, excuse me.
Real battle going underneath between Wallace and Nayrud. They're really fighting hard for position.
Forrester running the offense off to Bata, off to Lynch. Ball's tipped away, and Jaycox comes up with it.
As you can tell right there, the Eagles don't want to run with it. Jaycox may have had an opportunity for a fast break, but he wisely held the ball up so he could set the offense. Good disciplined team the Eagles are.
Tom Johnson with the cross-court pass there to Brian Hall. We saw that in the first quarter. Johnson will take that shot. He can't hit it, and it's rebounded by Kevin Lynch. Lynch leads the offense into the front court. Off there to Bata, off to Shear. Shot is tipped and knocked back and picked up by number 23, Tom Bata. He'll get it out back out front to Dale Forrester. Forrester off to Lynch. Looks like he traveled, and he did.
It's a good call by the official. Kevin brought the suitcase with him that time as he's called for traveling.
Well, Jefferson, of course, this year 18-0 in the overall record, 12-0 in the conference, and ranked second in the state behind Minneapolis North. Jaycox tries to lob into Schramm, and the ball's tipped away by Shear. Good defense by Shear.
That's the second time they've tried that, and they've really fronted Wallace on that play. Not giving him the baseline to work in when he jumps and tries to get positioning.
Lynch off to Bata, back out to Forrester. Forrester to Lynch. Lynch can't hit, and the rebound's taken down by John Wallace. Jefferson seems to be working their offense, the picks on the wings, and try to set up Bata and Lynch for the jump shots from 15, 16 feet. Jaycox is called for traveling again. That'll turn the ball back over to Jefferson. I don't think Jaycox liked the call.
He looked pretty angry at that, but it's a good call by the officials. He carried his right foot. That's the second time he's done that.
Steal by Kennedy as Johnson comes down with it. He goes up with it, and he's fouled. And he'll get 2 shots. Checking into the ball game For Jefferson, number 55, Mike Jensen. And number 31, Dan Shear, will sit down. Jensen, a 6'3" senior center for Jefferson. Tom Johnson will get 2 shots. He hits the first one. 16-12, Jefferson has the lead. Tom Johnson, co-captain of this Kennedy Eagle team, a 6'2" senior. Hits both free throws, and that pulls Kennedy to within 3 points, 16-13, with 5 minutes and 20 seconds left in the first half.
Johnson 3 for 3 from the line.
Nayrud out front to Forrester, off to Jensen. Out to front to Lynch. Off to Bata. Bata looks for the shot. Can't find anything. Up to Lynch. Lynch from the corner hits.
Lynch with 6 points. Lynch leads Jefferson tonight now with 6 points as Joe Jaycox calls timeout for Kennedy. His first timeout. 4 minutes and 49 seconds left in the second quarter, and Jefferson in the lead, 18-13. Kevin Lynch has come on in the second quarter and has taken over the scoring lead for Jefferson. He has 6 points. Tom Battis and Dale Forster tied with 4 next. Tom Johnson, number 20, co-captain for the Kennedy Eagles, leads them with 5 points. Joe Jaycox is right behind him with 2. Dale Forster has 2 fouls. He's the only player with 2 fouls.
And that was the first timeout taken by Kennedy High School. And it's been a slow start for the second quarter. After Jefferson led 14-11. Coach Steve Strummer was very confident that he could beat Jefferson on the home turf. They get the crowd support, and his team can get the good shots from outside, get the perimeter game going.
Brian Hall inbounds there to Tom Johnson. Tom Johnson off the Hall, back out to Johnson. Jefferson in a tough 2-3 zone press. Johnson drives, goes up with it and scores. Nice play by Tom Johnson. 7 points tonight for Tom Johnson to lead the Kennedy Eagles. Leads all scorers tonight. Johnson gets the ball off to number 51, Dan Nayrud. Nayrud can't hit, but a foul is called against Kennedy.
Looked like it'll be on Schramm going over the back.
I think that foul was called on Tom Johnson. That'll be his first. Ball off to Dale Forrester now. Forrester sets up the offense for Jefferson, off to Jensen. Jensen back out to Forrester, off to Lynch. Lynch looked for the shot. A little miscommunication there as it looked like he wanted to go back to Forrester, but Forrester wasn't in the area, and the ball rolls harmlessly out of bounds and turns over to Kennedy. Johnson into the front court. Off to Hall. Inside to Greg Vasura, who's checked into the lineup for Kennedy. Off to Wallace, back out to Johnson. They go to Vasura. His turnaround hits the bottom of the rim. Tough defense by Jefferson inside there as they forced number 52, Greg Vasura, to change his shot. Ball inbounded by Kennedy. And Brian Hall will bring it back out on top.
Well, it looks like Kennedy's going to have to live and die by the perimeter jump shot because Jaguars really packed it in on this 2-3 zone. They're giving the Eagles nothing.
Brian Hall hits, and that pulls the Kennedy Eagles with one, 18-17, with 3 minutes and 18 seconds left in the second quarter. Jefferson comes right back. Number 51, Dan Nehrude hits from 15 feet. Jefferson goes back up by 3. It looks like Jefferson comes down and they don't have to work half as hard for their shots as Kennedy does, Mark.
Well, it's Jefferson, a real balanced scoring team offensively. They can score from any player on the court.
Tom Johnson with a nice penetration there. He got the ball out to Steve Schramm. Schramm went up with it and was fouled. Schramm will get 2 shots.
The Eagles, they seem to be like a blue-collar team. Seem like bang the boards. Nobody's too tall, or there's no really outstanding player. Just 5 good ball players.
That foul is on number 51, Dan Nehrude, his second foul. Schramm can't hit the first free throw. No points yet tonight for Steve Schramm. That breaks the ice. And it pulls the Kennedy Eagles to win in 2 with 2 minutes and 48 seconds left in the first half. Forrester back in the front court for Jefferson. Tabata. Kennedy double teams Lynch whenever he goes inside there.
We have to respect Kevin Lynch, a great player. I believe he's a candidate for Mr. Basketball in the state of Minnesota.
Battle with a nice drive off a pass from Forrester. He banks it in, and Jefferson goes back up by 4. Johnson runs the offense as Kennedy brings it back down. Off to Brian Hall, number 14, inside to Schramm. Schramm can't hit the short jumper, and the rebound viciously taken down by Lynch.
Well, he emphatically grabbed that one, and there was no doubt that nobody was going to take the ball away from Mr. Lynch on that play.
Forrester off to Mike Shear, and Mike Shear hits his 4th point of the ball game. Jefferson up by 6. Kennedy can't afford to get too many here before the first half ends if they want to have any chance in the second half. Low-scoring ball game, 24-18, with just 1 minute and 30 seconds left in the first half. Johnson off to Hall. Hall up with it, and he hits.
Good set jump shot there by Hall. He scored a 6-point of the ball game.
All 3 of his jump shots have been from at least 15 feet. And Forrester leads Jefferson back down. Off to Jensen. Jensen out front to Lynch. Lynch off to Shear. Shear back up to Lynch. Over to Jensen. Jensen from 15, he can't hit, and the rebound there by Brian Hall.
I don't believe that's the type of shot the Jaguars want Jensen taking. He's more of a physical ball player. Give him the ball inside the paint.
Johnson now leading the Kennedy offense as Jaycox is taking a seat.
And it looks like the Eagles are going to go for the last shot with only 35 seconds remaining in the first half.
They pull it out, and Tom Johnson and John Wallace prepared to play catch here until Jefferson wants to come out and play man-to-man.
I'm a little surprised at the crowd's reaction. I thought this would be more intense rivalry, be more crowd support.
Well, it looks like the crowd's pretty evenly split between Jefferson fans and Kennedy fans. Kennedy goes into their offense. Johnson off to Wallace. Go to Johnson. Just 3 seconds left on the clock. John Wallace goes up with a shot from 15 feet. He can't hit it. And the first half ends with the score. Bloomington Jefferson Jaguars 24 and the Bloomington Kennedy Eagles 20. This is Bloomington. You're watching Bloomington Educational Cable Television. Channel 17D, affiliated with KTVA Television of Bloomington Kennedy High School. Here's Mark Simpson with a scoring summary of the first half.
All right, first of all, for the visiting Jefferson Jaguars, Dan Nehrude with 4, Kevin Lynch with 6, Mike Shear with 4, Tom Batta with 6, and Dale Forrester with 4. So good balanced scoring for the Jefferson Jaguars. For the Kennedy Eagles, John Wallace with 2 points, Brian Hall with 6, Steve Schramm with 1, Tom Johnson with 7, and Joe Jaycox with 4 points. nobody in any foul trouble whatsoever. So a good, clean first half of basketball. And I think it went in the favor of Jefferson Jaguars. They seemed to control more of the tempo in the first half, Todd.
Well, it seemed that Jefferson came down and they got the shots they wanted. They were more open taking their shots, whereas Kennedy had to work a lot harder to get their shots. And I think Kennedy's lucky to be in at this point. They still have a chance here if they can come on the second half and play well. We'll be back with second half action in just a moment.
And welcome back to Kennedy High School, where Kennedy is taking on Jefferson in boys basketball. Just underway to begin the second half. Mark Simpson along with Todd Johnson. Missed shot in the corner. And last touch by a Jaguar. And it'll be Kennedy's basketball. Same 5 starters for Kennedy. Jaycox, Hall, Johnson, Walls, and Schramm. For Jefferson, and Forster, Bata, Shear, Lynch, and Nehrud. Our score at halftime, Jefferson on top, 24-20. With the loose rebound. Oh, good hustle there by Schramm. But with alternate possession, ball will retain with Jefferson. Bringing the ball up court is Forster. In the corner is Bata. Over the cross-court pass to Shear. Tyler, that's going to be a good thing about Jefferson. They don't rely on just one person to handle the ball at all times.
That's right. They move the ball very well on offense. Both teams come on a little cold here to start the second half, but I'm sure that's a good sign for Kennedy. They'd like to stay in it. They won't mind 4 points down with 2 minutes to go in the game as far as they're concerned, I'm sure.
Jefferson ranked second in the state, 18-0. 12-0 in the Lake Red Conference. Schramm puts it up for the corner line. And the Eagles pull within 2. Schramm scores his 3rd point of the ball game, his first field goal. Forster with the basketball.
Good sign for Kennedy there. Get Schramm right into the offense. Start off the second half. Not scared to go inside at all on this team. Kennedy just a little bigger with 2 players, 6'5".
Shear loses control of the basketball, and the Eagles come up with it. Schramm, where he scored just a second ago, does it again. This time he uses the backboard.
That's 5 points. All 4 points for the second half here going to Steve Schramm, and the game's tied at 24-24. Could have an upset in the making here.
Tied at 24. Shear from outside scores to give the Jaguars a 2-point lead, 26-24.
6 points tonight for Mike Shear, number 31, Jefferson Jaguars.
Ball worked inside the Schramm, and it goes off his hands. And it'll be Jefferson's basketball.
Looked as if Coach Steve Strauman maybe came in the first half and said, let's try to get the ball into Steve a little more. They've tried to go into him every time down so far in this half.
And a missed shot, but hit the top of the backboard. And the ball will go over to Kennedy. Johnson will bring it inside to Joe Jaycox, who runs the offense.
Jaycox with 4 points in the first half. That would be a good sign for Kennedy, getting him into the offense.
All from outside. Scores, and we're tied at 26.
That's 8 points tonight for Brian Hall. He leads the Kennedy team in scoring.
Hall, a 6'3" senior. And that's been his shot the entire night, it seems like, from the corner of the free throw line. Shear answers with another 2 points. And Jefferson back on top, 28-26.
Shear with 8 points to lead Jefferson now. Neither team has a scorer in double figures.
Alley-oop worked inside the Wallace. His first shot is blocked. And Schramm comes up with the loose ball, and he scores.
A lot more scoring early here in the second half as Both teams have suddenly gotten hot here, and
the tempo seemed to pick up somewhat. Working baseline is Bada, brings it back out. Forrester with the basketball. Forrester, a replacement in the starting lineup. To Shear from outside cannot hit. Rebound Hall. And Kennedy with a take the lead. Ball working around, that tough 2-3 defense by the Jaguars. Cross court pass to Hall. He lets it go. Misses everything. Rebound Shear.
I'll tell you, Mark, that Tom Johnson, number 20 for Kennedy, isn't scared to throw that cross court pass. I'd hate to see him do it for Bobby Knight at Indiana, though.
He might find himself on the bench if he did it there. Dale Forrester with the basketball, pressured by Johnson. Vada, he's showing good range from the outside. He puts it up, way short. Getting the rebound, though, is Mike Shear. And
Shear there to clean up a little garbage there as the ball came funny off the rim, and he stood there and it fell into his hands.
The ball was way short. It seemed to be an easy rebound for a pair of Eagle players, but somehow got the basketball and scored.
Good defense by Shear that time, knocking the ball out of bounds.
I haven't seen too much bench from either squad in tonight's ball game. Hall lets it go from outside and scores.
That's 10 points for Brian Hall, the first player on either team to crack the double figure mark.
The Kennedy players are really fired up after every basket. They're standing, clapping, really cheering this team on. They really want this victory.
This would be a huge upset for Kennedy if they could pull it off.
Forster's shot is blocked. Last touch by Lynch of Jefferson, according to the referee. So here comes Kennedy, 2:44 remaining here in the third quarter. Ball working inside the Schramm in the paint. He scores! Count it! Steve Schramm is exploded here offensively in the third quarter.
In the third quarter alone has 8 points. He only had 1 point in the first half. I think probably Coach Strauman had a word or two to his players. He said, we can go inside on these little bit bigger Jefferson players and get them in foul trouble.
Schramm completes the three-point play. As you can tell, the Kennedy players are excited on the sidelines. Forrester bringing the ball up court.
10 points for Hall and 10 points for Schramm tonight for Kennedy.
Battle with a good move. And Jefferson pulls within one at 33-32.
That's 8 points tonight for Tom Batta so far.
Both teams have woken up here in the second half. Tom Johnson drives, the ball stripped. Coming up with it is Kevin Lynch for the Jefferson. Lynch, who next year will be making his moves in the Big Ten at the University of Minnesota. Here comes Lynch. Oh, good pass, baseline. Unable to hit his Nayrud. And we're going to get an offensive foul call. Check that, defensive fouls. Nayrud.
Foul called there on number 44, John Wallace, his second foul. Only the first team foul on the Kennedy Eagles, but Shear will go to the free throw line and shoot two. Looked like a good block from our angle, but looked like maybe he got him with the body there. Referee had a little better angle than we did, though.
And we're tied at 33. And now Jefferson with a chance to take the 1 point lead after Schramm had just given the Eagles a 3 point lead. We're tied now at 33 all.
Shear can't hit the second free throw. That leaves him with 9 points so far tonight, as nobody on Jefferson yet, has broke into double figures.
Johnson back out. Hall, he's been hot here in the third quarter. Jaycock's in trouble. Finally gets up Tom Johnson, drives the lane, improvises a shot in the air, and he gets the rim, the roll on the rim.
And the Eagles back on top by 2, 35-33. Under a minute to play here in the third quarter, down to 55 seconds. Forster top of the key. I mean, it goes Nerud. Last touch, thing went off the shoulder of Schramm.
I think that shot from the outside was partially blocked by Tom Johnson, and he's really come on in the third quarter here. He's got 9 points so far tonight, and he's played extremely good defense.
47 seconds remaining, third quarter. And the Kennedy Eagles surprisingly on top, 35-33. Seems like Jefferson will go for the last shot of the quarter. We're down to 24 seconds. They seem to be in no hurry to go to the hoop yet.
Good movement on the Jefferson offense here as players are always moving to the ball.
Okay, down to 12 seconds. Forster with the basketball, top of the key, down to 8. They're going to have to hurry to get the shot up. Down to 6. Battle will let it go. He's a good shooting forward. Cannot hit. Rebound is Wallace. And we played 3 quarters. And look who's on top. Kennedy, not the second-ranked Jefferson Jaguars. As Kennedy holds a 35-33 advantage. And Todd Johnson will now give us the scores in this ball game.
Well, for the Jefferson Jaguars, Dan Nerud with 4 points, all in the first half. Kevin Lynch with 6 points, all in the first half. Mike Shear so far with 9 points. Tom Batta with 8 points, and Dale Forrester with 4 points. And for the Kennedy Eagles, John Wallace with 2, Brian Hall with 10, Steve Schramm with 10 points, 9 here in the second half. Tom Johnson with 9 points, and Joe Jaycox with 4 points. And it looks like Steve Schramm has really come out in the second half and kind of taken the game into his own hands. Mark?
It seems like Hall and Schramm have decided that to win this ball game, they'll be the Mr. Inside, Mr. Outside punch. And they provided some great offense here. Take a shot at the Kennedy huddle, coached by Steve Strumman. And he believed before this game that they could beat Kennedy High. Shown it so far, Todd. I mean, they could beat Jefferson. And they're doing the job so far.
Kennedy has outscored Jefferson in that third quarter, 15-9, to take a 2-point advantage going into the final 8 minutes.
So, Todd, what does Kennedy have to do if they want to pull off this big upset?
Well, I'm sure that Jefferson's going to come out in this fourth quarter here and try to get the ball to their shooters, Tom Batt and Kevin Lynch. He's going to have to take tough defense on the wings by Kennedy, and they're also going to have to stick with their third quarter offense and try to get it inside to Schramm here, because that seemed to work for him.
Schramm tries to work it inside the Wallace. Good move, and he scores. Nice play by Wallace. As baseline, he uses the boards. And Kennedy with a 4-point lead, 37-33.
Only 4 points tonight for John Wallace, but that's a big one.
Jefferson, when you're 18, you know every game someone's gunning for you. There's no doubt they've faced this type of pressure before.
None bigger than this game tonight, though, as the two crosstown rivals meet.
Forster with the basketball.
Jefferson looks a little confused with Kennedy's defense right now.
Lynch from outside, it's short. Trying to tip in was Shear, and coming out with his Steve Schramm, who's played an outstanding second half. 6 minutes and 54 seconds remaining in the ball game. 37-33, and it looks like Kennedy will hold the ball out. Kind of go into a four corners, you might say. And this kind of surprises me, as they've done a good job here in the second half on the offensive side.
I think the plan here, Mark, is try to pull Jefferson out of that patented 2-3 zone that they've been in all night, and Kennedy's going to look for some easy baskets. Looks like it's Jefferson's had to come out, and they're trying to play a little trap now.
Johnson all alone under the hoop was Wallace, but the ball was deflected. So Jefferson playing some good defense. Comes up with the turnover. And they're going to try to cut the lead to within 2. And here's almost a steal by Wallace, knocked out of bounds.
Good defense by Wallace. He's come on here in the fourth quarter to score 2 points and play some tough defense. And rebound on both ends of the court for Kennedy.
Ball worked inside. Nerud back outside the Lynch. And Jefferson, who had a good inside ball game in the first half, has been forced to jump shots as Lynch hits from 17 feet.
That's Kevin Lynch's first 2 points of the second half. He has 9 points all told in the game.
Brought the crowd up to the feet early in the first quarter when he dunked it over Jaycox. Ball worked inside now to Walsh. Shot was partially deflected. I think we're going to have a foul called on Forrester or Lynch. And the foul appears to be on Lynch, and we have a timeout called by Jefferson with 5 minutes and 35 seconds remaining in the ball game, and Kennedy leads by 2, 37-35, and a major upset in the making here in the Lake Red Conference and in the state. You're watching Bloomington Educational Cable Television, channel 17D, an affiliate of KTVA. Mark Simpson along with Todd Johnson. Hope you're enjoying this ball game.
Possible upset in the making as Kennedy has taken a 2-point lead here, 37-35, and I think maybe Coach Strauman wants to talk over with his players how to attack that new Jefferson defense. I think they had that planned. If they had the lead, they were going to pull the ball out and try to pull Jefferson out of that 2-3 zone that they've been in almost every game this year.
Well, not only does it eat some time off the clock, but also they can hope to get the easy layup. Hopefully one of the wings will break. And so it looks like Kennedy High School might come off with a big win as they lead by 2 now, with a lot of time left in this ballgame. 5 minutes and 35 seconds remaining.
Boy, Schramm's really come on in the second half. Scored 9 points in the second half alone to lead the Kennedy Eagles. And we'll see John Wallace at the line for 2 shots.
Wallace, 6'1" junior forward, hands the first free throw, and Kennedy is on top again by 3 points, and they could have their biggest lead in the ballgame if Wallace can make this free throw. Perfect, 39-35.
Wallace with 6 points tonight. 4 of them coming in this second half.
Let's see how Jefferson handles this adversity they find themselves under right now. Forrester leading the offense. Worked inside, back out to Forrester. Todd, has Kennedy done anything different on defense this time to stop the inside ball game?
It looks like Kennedy has packed it in a little bit.
Nerud scores the basket there, and it's 39-37. Jaycox taking the ball up court. This time they won't pull things out. John Pascal had a notion, back out to Jaycox. Looks like Johnson is hoping to get that cross-court pass again. He does this time to Hall. Schramm, corner of the free throw line. Looked like there may have been some contact. Missed shot, rebound Nerud.
Jefferson can tie this time down.
Worked inside the Lynch. He was a little surprised by that.
Lynch double teamed every time he goes through the lane.
Forster has not even, I don't think, attempted a shot here in the second half.
Motion offense here run by Jefferson as 2 or 3 players pick down and swing back and forth on the wings as they look for the open shot from the wings.
Bat up back outside to Forster. Forster will put it up now from outside. Way hard. Rebound. Strong rebound by Steve Schramm.
Schramm and Wallace come on to play tough on the defensive and offensive boards for Kennedy in the second half. Not giving Jefferson a lot of second chances.
Hall playing catch with Johnson as Kennedy holding the ball outside the court. Jaycox drives back outside. Down to 3 minutes and 25 seconds remaining as the time's starting to be definitely a factor now. Jaycox gives it off to Johnson in the corner. Maybe got himself into trouble. Finally gets it outside to Jaycox, who's directing the offense. So a very deliberate offense by the Kennedy High School Eagles. And here's a steal now. But last touch by, I believe, number 31.
Shear touched it last, I believe. The ball stay in control of Kennedy's control. We're going to have a timeout here by Kennedy as they have a little trouble with the press there.
And we look at the clock now, down to 3 minutes and 3 seconds. With the score 39-37, Kennedy on top.
Coach Straumann there just signaling to the referee, asking which way the ball was going to go, and I'm sure he wanted to make sure it was still in his possession.
Kennedy came in tonight 12-6 overall, 8-4 in the Lake Red Conference.
That ties them for second place with Apple Valley in the conference. Not a bad record when you consider it's probably the strongest conference in the state. Of course, Jefferson stands alone atop the Lake Red Conference with a 12-0 mark. They're 18-0 overall. Of course, that unblemished mark is in jeopardy tonight, as with 3 minutes and 3 seconds left in the game, Kennedy has a 2-point lead.
Jefferson, last time they were on the road at Osseo, they were in almost the same situation. On to defeat the Orioles of Osseo 57-50.
39-37, rather low-scoring game for boys high school basketball. As we see some of the fans here tonight.
I think he's a Kennedy or a Jefferson fan. He probably doesn't even care right now. So Hall will take the ball out of play. Giving off to Jaycox.
Kennedy was having a little trouble with the defense that Jefferson was playing.
Johnson drives, gives it off to Schramm. He puts it up. It is short. Rebound by Lynch. And the Jaguars with a chance to tie. Todd, were you surprised that the Eagles tried for a basket at that point?
Well, I think it was still their plan to go into Schramm like that, and I'm sure having all the confidence in the world after this great second half.
No basket, no basket. As Nerud went over the back. And Nerud will be called for the offensive foul.
As Jefferson's going to come out in a press here with 2:29 left in the game. Still down by 2.
39-37. Jaycox with the basketball. That's who they like. He quickly pushes the ball up court, and he's tripped from behind by Forrester.
Inadvertent trip there. Forrester just trying to hustle back on defense.
So Joe Jaycox taking a stumble. 5'9" senior or junior. Jaycox, a good football player for the Eagles. Hall with the basketball. 2 minutes and 19 seconds remaining. Almost a steal. Jaycox able to get out of some trouble as Lynch and Forrester all over him. Johnson driving baseline.
Nice move on the baseline there by Johnson.
Ball knocked out of bounds.
Jaycox almost looks out of control sometimes when he comes dribbling the ball down court, but he hasn't turned the ball over at all tonight.
And there's a break for the Eagles as it went through the hands of Wallace and right into Jaycox. Missed shot. Rebound, Bata. And we're under 2 minutes now. 1 minute and 59 remaining. Jaguars trailing by 2.
Jaycox was only 4 points in tonight's ball game. Saw his opportunity there and put it up. He hadn't put one up since the first half.
Forster with the basketball, the second-ranked Jaguars. Led by Dale Forrester, trying to tie the score at 39 apiece. Bata working it back over to Forrester.
So Kennedy's come out a little bit harder in the second half and pressed the shooting wings for Jefferson. Jefferson's had to work a lot harder in the second half for good shots.
Shot put up by Nerud, and we're tied at 39.
8 points for Nerud here. 4 in the second half. They've come at critical times.
A clutch basket. What's taking the ball now is Tom Johnson. He drives the lane, almost lost it, gives it back outside to Jaycox. 1 minute 4 remaining. Will they go for the last shot? We'll have to see. Coach Straumann wants a timeout. And Hall calls a timeout with 55 seconds remaining. And the score, Jefferson 39, Kennedy 39.
I think we'll see both teams come out here with last-minute offenses. I think Kennedy will probably play the ball down. They might even play it down to 15 or 10 seconds and take another timeout. I believe that was their third timeout of the ball game. They'll have 2 left.
Dan Nayrud taking a clutch shot from about 12 feet from the baseline. Nothing but net, tying the score at 39. So we're under a minute to play, and we're tied at 39 all.
Neither team in the bonus yet, so Jefferson does have a foul to give. Jefferson has 14 fouls. They do have a foul to give before they put Kennedy on line. They could think about maybe fouling, attempting to steal the ball.
So if you're Kennedy High School, who do you work it inside? Do you work it inside to Schramm, or try to get it outside for Hall?
I think right away they'll try to go inside to Steve Schramm. Of course, if they're going to look for if they have to look for the open outside shot, I'm sure they'll want to go to either number 14, Brian Hall, or number 20, Tom Johnson. Johnson with 9 points tonight and Hall with 10. Very balanced scoring for the Kennedy Eagles, for both teams actually.
So here we are. Put on your safety belts now as we go to the final 55 seconds left of the ball game.
Just caught a clue there from number 54, Steve Schramm of the Kennedy Eagles. Kennedy has 1 timeout remaining, so they'll have to use that with caution.
Hall gets it inside to Tom Johnson. He's pressured by Forrester. Johnson going baseline, dishes it off to Walsh. Walsh inside the paint. He's fouled. And the ball scored. I don't think they'll count it. No, a traveling is called.
Unbelievable call. As Walsh went up with a shot, I'm sure most of the fans thought the basket was going to count and he was going to be fouled, but the referee on the far side called traveling before he went up with the shot.
That surprised me that the trailing official did call the traveling play. And now Jefferson calls a timeout with 40 seconds remaining. And now with the Jaguars with the chance to win the ball game. What a change of events.
You go from one end to the other.
Looked like Wallace was fouled, and it looked like the question was, what would the basket? As you can see, just 40 seconds remaining in the clock, in the game.
Coach Strauman and Coach Kelly Carnegie there right at the beginning of the timeout had a word or two for the officials.
And now Jack Evans, the head coach for Bloomington Jefferson, trying to set his offense. And they have so many guns to go to, Todd. Who would you look for in a situation like this?
Well, you got to look to Kevin Lynch, their all-state forward. And also you got to look to Tom Batta, the two shooters who come off those picks underneath. And did a lot of shooting in the first and second half for them. They haven't been extremely hot tonight. But I'm sure they're going to try to go to Lynch. I'm sure Kennedy knows that too, and will try to defense against that. The possession arrow, by the way, is in favor of Jefferson at this moment. So if they're tie balls, the possession will stay in favor of Jefferson.
So here we go. 40 seconds remaining. Forrester will take the basketball. Kennedy's played outstanding defense here in the second half. Lynch with the basketball, the man they're most afraid of. Down to 27 seconds remaining. I wonder if they'll hold the ball and then call for another timeout. Forrester gives it off to Batta.
Bit of a mismatch as Joe Jaycox is covering Kevin Lynch. Jaycox probably the quickest player on the floor for Kennedy, and they wanted to try and stay with Lynch.
Down to 9 seconds. Forrester, ball work inside the Lynch. All alone is Nayrud. He scores with about 3 seconds remaining, and Kennedy calls a timeout.
That play was set up by Kevin Lynch. Kevin Lynch, a nice job setting up the play. He drove and looked like he was going to go up for the shot. Nayrud all alone underneath. Dished it off to Nayrud, and Nayrud laid it in.
Oh, an outstanding, unselfish play by the All-State selection, Kevin Lynch, and Dan Nayrud with 4 clutch points here in the last 2 minutes. And now, especially these 2 points, as they give Jefferson a 41-39 lead with only 2 ticks left in the game.
Well, if you're Kennedy, you got to try to throw the ball at least a half court when you get it right in bounds, and maybe have another play awaiting, or turn around and go right up with the shot.
Probably the best situation we do to have, I always thought, was have at least 3-4 players underneath the hoop, just throw the ball up. Hopefully he might draw the foul.
Go for the baseball pass down court.
And some of the crowd starting to leave as they seem to think that Jefferson has wrapped this game up, as Dan Nayrud scoring the easy jump shot from the easy basket from this beautiful assist from Kevin Lynch. And it could be a very bitter loss for the Eagles.
Jefferson fans sense victory. Of course, they're used to it this year, being unbeaten. Haven't had that many close ball games. Not this close, anyway.
Jefferson trying for their 19th consecutive victory. Johnson will throw the ball. It's partially deflected. Jaycox lets it go, and it hits the top of the backboard, and Jefferson comes up with a hard-fought 41-39 victory over the Kennedy Eagles in a very good ball game.
Jefferson fans very happy about a bipartisan crowd, as both teams had fans, as both teams shake hands at center court. A hard-fought battle, 141-39 by Jefferson. Here's a look at the scoring. Dan Nayrud, this for the Jefferson Jaguars, had 10 points. Kevin Lynch finished the game with 8 points. Of course, a big assist on that last basket. Mike Shear finished the game with 9. Tom Battle with 8 points, and Dale Forrester with 4 points. For the Kennedy Eagles, John Wallace had 6 points. Brian Hall had 10 points. Steve Schramm had 10 points. Tom Johnson had 9 points. And Joe Jaycox had 4 points. Of course, our Bloomington Educational Cable Television player of the game, we've given it to Steve Schramm of the Kennedy Eagles, and that based on his second half play. He's really helped the team come back and helped them almost steal a victory away from Jefferson tonight.
It's got to be a tough loss for Kennedy, but there's got to be some bright spots. I mean, how bad can it be when you lose to the second-rated team in the state with only, they score a basket with only 2 seconds remaining?
It's got to be a big plus for them going into their final games of the regular season Friday.
Kennedy will take on Apple Valley in their next
That'll
game.
be a battle for second place. Of course, first place wrapped up tonight by Jefferson. Jefferson will take on Rosemont on Friday, and both teams will be seated on Saturday in the Region 6 AA tournament. We'll be back with the wrap-up right after this.
Hi, I'm Tom Roloff, the host of Time Out, your weekly Bloomington sports TV show. Time Out is seen live every Wednesday on BEC-TV at 7:30 p.m. and replayed several times during the week thereafter. Time Out features sports teams from Jefferson, Kennedy, and Normandale with special interviews with players and coaches. We also have a weekly Team of the Week, special features, and scores and highlights from the previous week. Please join us on BEC-TV for Time Out, the best in Bloomington TV sports.
Well, that'll do it tonight from Bloomington Kennedy High School, as Kennedy came close but no cigar, as Jefferson shows why they're number 2 in the state.
Yes, Dan Nayrud hitting the easy jumper with only about 4 seconds remaining as they knock off a good challenge by the Kennedy Eagles.
Final score 41-39. For Mark Simpson, I'm Todd Johnson saying goodnight from Bloomington Kennedy High School.